Generally speaking, I do think there is value in raising issues to people in power. If your congressman never hears any of their constituents complain about the VA, they're likely to never even think about the VA. And so no problem would ever get addressed. But I have to say, if you get your congressman involved in looking into your VA claim, you can't realistically expect that anything is going to happen. And I don't say that to make fun of members of Congress. I say that because the VA has found a way to effectively ignore members of Congress and all of these requests from veterans about looking into claims. So let's unpack this. You've got a claim that's been sitting at the VA for a long time, and you want to figure out why it's taken so long for anything to get done. And you think, well, who outranks this federal agency? The answer, of course, is Congress. And there are members of Congress who are supposed to represent you. So you think, naturally, if I call my representative or senator and get them involved in this VA claim, the VA will have to respond to them, and they will have to answer for this long delay of them just not doing anything. And I can finally get some traction. Now, all of that sounds great, but as I learned in the Army, there are ways to ignore the people who outrank you. And if you're smart enough about it, you can even avoid negative repercussions. That's what the VA has done here. They have figured out a way to respond to these congressional inquiries without actually responding to them. Let me explain. Your congressman has a member of their staff, and it's part of their job to handle these types of requests from constituents. So that staff member will get your information, and they'll reach out to the VA, and they'll say, basically, what's up with this claim? Now, the VA has a person whose job it is to respond to these things. And I'm not saying it's literally one person. I'm sure there's several, but they've got folks who do this. And the VA does actually look into these claims. I mean, at a minimum, they're going to take your information and confirm that you actually do have a claim pending before the VA. And if you do, 9 times out of 10, what they're going to do is send a form letter back to that staff member. And I do mean a form letter. I've seen them lots of times. It is almost literally the same thing every single time. And that form letter basically says nothing. Or I should say the letter says very little. I would summarize the main points as, the VA is saying, we do have a claim for this person. We looked into it, and we'll make a decision in the order in which the claim was received. And that's it. That's all they say in their letter. And they'll send that to the staff member. The staff member will send that letter to you. And as far as your congressman is concerned and the VA is concerned, it's done. And if you think about it, that letter told you literally nothing. You already knew all of that stuff. So that's what I mean. The VA's found a way to ignore members of Congress. They responded. They can check off that box. We didn't ignore them. We got this congressional inquiry. We looked into it. We responded. We're done. Incidentally, I would love to have a conversation with a congressional staffer who does this as part of their job, because I'd love to hear their perspective on this whole situation. So if you happen to know one of those, send them my way. I think that would be enlightening. Now, there are times when getting a member of Congress involved can actually get the ball rolling and kind of unstick your claim. But you really do have to have exceptional circumstances. It can't just be your claim's been waiting for a long time. It has to be something like your claim has been waiting a long time by VA standards. Another example is homeless veterans. So in situations like that, getting a member of Congress involved can make a difference if the VA is just slow rolling a homeless veteran's claim. But again, those are exceptions that kind of prove the rule. For 95% of all veterans' claims, a congressional inquiry isn't going to do anything. And it only might help for that 5% where there really are exceptional circumstances. And those statistics were totally made up, by the way. So there you have it. That's my take on what happens if you file a congressional complaint about the VA being slow with your VA claim. And again, if you think it's important to do as a matter of principle, just to remind your member of Congress how terrible the VA is with these sorts of things, then that's fine, do it. But have realistic expectations about what's actually going to come out of that. And I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like me to help you with your VA claims, you can reach out through the links below. I'm Al Walsh. Thanks for watching.